As concerns over Senator Dianne Feinstein's health and mental decline just continue to dominate headlines, California Governor Gavin Newsom is apparently preparing a list of names so he can know who he's gonna appoint should Feinstein decide to resign before her term is up. Now, what's fascinating about this is that one of the individuals he's considering is a former daytime talk show host who has no experience in politics whatsoever, but nonetheless, she has a big name and he did promise to appoint a black woman. So, according to AP News, should a vacancy occur, a range of names from obscure to famous, including Oprah Winfrey, have been floated in California circles as possible replacements. I'm going to pause for comment, Waz, because I'm very curious what you think about this.
I mean, you got to be skeptical once the Gavin Newsom, Joe Biden types start making racialized promises about the demographics of the positions they're filling. But yeah, when somebody tells you Oprah is the answer to government, it's crazy. I think for years people thought she would one day run for president because of her general popularity in the country amongst all demographics. But yeah, this is a freaking disaster waiting to happen. And I don't know why Oprah would want this job, quite frankly.
Yeah, look, Oprah's lovely. I have nothing against Oprah, but what are the credentials here, right? Like what would she run on? What would her platform be? What does she represent? Like it's just such a strange.
She's Gavin Newsom's only black friend, and that's it. It's the only black woman he knows. So, I'm sure he's been up to the crib in Santa Barbara plenty of times. I'm sure she's been to fundraisers or probably even fundraised for him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Specifically, I wouldn't be surprised by all of that. We know that he is very entrenched within the power moneyed elite of the Democratic Party. And so the idea that he would be hobnobbing and rubbing elbows with Oprah Winfrey, the richest black woman in America, nobody should be shocked by that. I'm sure they've been to French Laundry together, Anna.
I would not be surprised. Okay, so look, he made that commitment. I am going to, if it comes to it, I plan to appoint a black woman. Fine, okay. There are qualified black women who happen to have experience in politics that he could appoint. People like Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who is a progressive. But it appears that he's really going out of his way to avoid having to do that. There was a story in Politico just last week indicating that Nancy Pelosi is having her daughter stay super close to Feinstein to ensure that she doesn't resign and it doesn't create a situation in which Barbara Lee gets appointed because Pelosi is rooting for Adam Schiff, who is running for that Senate seat. Barbara Lee, by the way, is also running for that Senate seat. And it's just unbelievable to me that they are willing, like the Democratic establishment is willing to either force Feinstein to remain in her seat and not resign early, even though we all see what's going on with her, or appoint like a literal celebrity who's never had a single day of experience in politics as a senator. Then have a progressive in that seat. Like they will do anything to prevent a progressive winning that seat. I would kill to know what's going through the mind of Congresswoman Barbara Lee. And I'm very curious.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine she couldn't be surprised that they would try to wrong foot her, so to speak, by picking some celebrity mega rich person. And again, look, like you said, Oprah is, she's great, whatever. Her terrible views on hip hop, notwithstanding.
I don't even know her views on hip hop. What has she said about hip hop?
Oh yeah, she's been anti-hip hop from the start for very, very long time. I'm talking about going back to the 90s. It's kind of just like it's black underclass culture. We're not with it. It's similar to Cosby and that sort of ilk. But what I will say, right? Let's just say Oprah was like a celebrity with a pet cause. Like, we know Leonardo DiCaprio is obsessed with like climate change and the environment, or I don't know, she was like obsessed with homelessness, solving it or whatever. If she was like some celebrity celebrity who was obsessed with some societal issue. I could see them being like, look, man, this is important to the Democrats. They've already, sort of invested a lot of time, money, and effort into making things better in this area of society. I don't see why they couldn't bring that expertise to the Democratic Party's overall sort of agenda. That's not the case, man. Oprah is chilling, having wine parties up there in Santa Barbara. She ain't doing nothing. She don't want to work for real. This is nuts.
So I want to go to this statement from one Democratic strategist. And anytime you see a Democratic strategist quoted in the press, it's usually because they're urging some sort of strategy that squashes progressive efforts. And I think this is a good example of that. Let's go to graphic 6 here, where a Los Angeles-based Democratic strategist, Kerman Maddox, says the following. He, meaning Newsom, made the commitment, and I do not believe there is any wiggle room for the governor not to honor his commitment. And his commitment, of course, is what's included in this headline, graphic 3, Newsom will appoint black woman if Feinstein retires early. Okay, so one other thing I wanna ask you, because I don't know if it's offensive to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. As a woman who, if I were in some sort of position where I was being considered for a role, I was being considered as an appointee for a role just based on the fact that I'm a woman, I would just find that a little bit insulting. You get what I'm saying? Like, no, but like we just need a woman in this role. Like, you're a woman, you appear to be a woman. Do you get what I'm saying? It totally erases like the accomplishments of the person, like that's being considered for the role. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but look, and if I don't know, if CNN said they were looking for a woman to host a show, you've got a decade plus experience hosting shows, and you happen to be a woman. Now, if I don't know, and again, CNN is hosting a political show. Now, if some town somewhere was like, oh, we need a new dog catcher, and we wanted that dog catcher to be a woman, it'd be like, well, I've never caught dogs before. So obviously you don't actually want me for the role. And what I would say to people, why is Gavin Newsom making this promise? That's the problem with a lot of these sort of racialized declarations when it comes to filling out seats. Remember, Biden went all racial, and then he literally plucked a freaking guy from the board of Raytheon, made him defense secretary, and was like, look, I put a black guy in charge. Like, it's not like he's going to marry some issue that is afflicting black women at large that Oprah's mega connected to, and so she should fill that role. It's like something special that's happening to black women in the state of California, et cetera, et cetera. There's no rhyme or reason. He can't even explain. And I'm not saying a black woman shouldn't get the position. Of course they should, but the tell that this is disingenuous and that it's progressivism in sort of aesthetics only and literally nothing else is that they don't even tell you why they need a black woman in there. No, they don't tell you what kind of black woman, because all black women are the same, obviously.
No, thank you for spelling it out the way you did, because a light bulb went off in my head as to like why I find all of this so strange. It's because of the performative nature of it, right? It's not about actually addressing inequalities. It's not about addressing systemic issues, especially in a state like California where those systemic issues absolutely exist. It's just about engaging in this performative act that really does nothing to improve the lives of black citizens in California or otherwise. So yeah, I think that's what gets under my skin. And by the way, there are qualified black women for that role. I think Barbara Lee is qualified. I'm glad she's running for that seat. But if Gavin Newsom were to appoint someone, understand guys that individual would then be an incumbent and would have a massive advantage once that Senate race takes place. And so I think that there's now this like effort of establishment Democrats to figure out how they're gonna handle this because they don't wanna make the miscalculation of finding themselves in a situation in which Feinstein does in fact resign early, and then they're scrambling to find a replacement for her. They don't wanna make the mistake in their minds, I think, of leaving that role for someone who's in their same party but has politics they disagree with because she happens to be progressive. But don't worry, guys. We have someone to provide some clarity on this issue for us, and that person is Hillary Clinton, who in a recent interview with Time Magazine let us know what she thinks about this whole Dianne Feinstein situation. She says, quote, "Feinstein has suffered greatly from the bout of shingles and encephalitis that she endured. Here is the dilemma for her. She got reelected. The people of California voted for her again not very long ago. That was the voters' decision to vote for her, and she has been a remarkable and very effective leader. Now, she was gone for 2.5 months because of the shingles that she was struggling with. She's experiencing clear mental decline. She missed a bunch of votes to confirm federal judges. I mean, it's ridiculous and laughable to say that, she's continuing her obligations, she's doing a great job. It's so clear what the corporate wing of the Democratic Party is up to.
Hillary Clinton sucks, part 5,000. That is just, if it hasn't been made blatantly and obviously clear to you guys at home, she's terrible. This is all I'll say about what the Democratic Party establishment thinks about the job that Feinstein was performing before she sort of, became afflicted with these problems. They're replacing her with a celebrity. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Like, that's all you need to know about the respect they have for her position in the party and what she was actually accomplishing in her role within the party structure. They are just flippantly just coming up with famous names that they know everybody has heard of. Oprah has a great Q rating, that's it. If Feinstein was doing some invaluable job, if she was somehow, irreplaceable and so remarkable as Hillary Clinton would have us believe, they would go hard and get some, they would be able to, because this is the party, by the way, the resume party. This is Hillary Clinton who's like, I should be the president because I've had X, Y, and Z job beforehand. This is the party that loves that.
Yep.
And so the idea that they're bringing Oprah into this shows you they don't have any respect for this woman's position. If they did, they would have brought you somebody who they could give you bullet point by bullet point. They went to this fancy school, did this fancy job, did this fancy thing that makes them the elite type of person that should have this very important job. They haven't even bothered doing that. They have no respect for this woman and what she does. It's obvious.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.